for that. And many say President Jeffrey R. Holland's childhood in St. George shaped the faith, character, and compassion he carried with him throughout his life. Southern Utah correspondent Cannon Sechrist shows us how his roots left a lasting legacy.
Here in St. George, Elder Holland's impact is still being felt, and for many, he wasn't just a church leader, he was a hometown figure who never forgot where he came from. For years, the St. George Temple was a place that President Jeffrey R. Holland often returned to, a place deeply tied to his faith and his roots. He most recently rededicated the temple in 2023, and for those who heard him speak in person, his words left a lasting impression.
The way he speaks and the way he conveys his messages is just always full of a deep passion and a love.
Kim Hazelwood says that one message delivered years ago at a youth conference has stayed with her ever since.
He was talking to the youth about, we already know who wins, and yet we're all still trying to figure out what jersey we want to put on. And I remember he was hitting this little makeshift pulpit, and he was telling the youth, he goes, "Don't be stupid."
But long before his words reached a global audience, Jeffrey R. Holland was a Southern Utah kid, attending Dixie High School, then Dixie College, which is now Utah Tech University. And those local roots, many say, never left him.
He was very humble, but loved here, loved St. George, and loved telling everybody that he was from here. Knowing a little bit about the man he is, he attributes a lot of it to what he learned growing up here in Dixie.
Today, his legacy lives on at Utah Tech, where the on-campus library bears his name. The school says the building was made possible by an anonymous donor who offered the funding on one condition, that it honor Jeffrey R. Holland, a fellow Dixie College classmate.
He was a standout athlete here, met his wife here. His wife was a student leader here, and so it was fitting that we named this building after him.
Del Beatty, who knew the Holland family well, says one of his most memorable interactions came during a state conference visit, when Holland wasn't scheduled to speak, but stepped up anyway.
But what was interesting is he said at the end, he said, "I wasn't planning to be here. None of you knew I was coming, but I would love to stay and meet you." And he stayed and shook hands with members of that stake for probably an hour at least, and met so many of the people.
And it's moments like that, quiet, personal, and unassuming, that many in Southern Utah say define how they'll remember Jeffrey R. Holland.
He truly cared about this area. He loved education. He talked a lot. He came back and spoke at a lot of our homecoming events and D-Week events over the years. So just my few interactions with him over the past, 12 to 13 years have just been amazing. He's a wonderful person. He'll be missed.
Reporting in Southern Utah, Cannon Sechrist, ABC4 News.